This time on Fliptv News. The headlines. Buhari promises to take action on cooking gas price hike. China-Russian furious as Biden snubs them for democracy summit. 2022 Grammy Awards, Wizkid, Femi Kuti get double nominations, Burna Boy makes list. Barca held by Benfica in Javis Champions League debut. Biden invites Taiwan, Nigeria and others to Democracy Summit. And finally, Nigerian politicians fear Western sanctions more than local laws, says Senator Sani. Good afternoon, I am Shijola Afolabi. Welcome to News, Fliptv News. He said this while addressing State House correspondents after a meeting with the president in his office, where he presented the CEOs of two new agencies, the Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission (NERC) and the Nigerian Downstream, Mainstream and Petroleum Regulatory Authority at the State House. The minister explained that the government has no control of the prices and rather it is the international market that primarily determines the price of the commodity. Silva, however, assured Nigerians that some elements of pricing will be adjusted internally to enable a reduction, particularly in view of the Yuletide season. China and Russia reacted furiously Wednesday to U.S. President Joe Biden's planned Democracy Summit, which will exclude them, with Beijing angered over an invitation for Taiwan and Kremlin branding it divisive. The global conference was a campaign pledged by the U.S. president, who has placed the struggle between democracies and autocratic government at the heart of the foreign policy. The inclusion of Taiwan and not China led to an angry rebuke from Beijing, which it said firmly opposes the invitation to the so-called Summit for Democracy. Beijing claims self-ruled Taiwan as part of its territory to be retaken one day by force if necessary. Around 110 countries have been invited to the virtual summit, including the United States, major Western allies, but also Iraq, India and Pakistan. But Russia said the guest list released Tuesday on State Department website showed that the United States prefers to create new dividing lines to provide countries into those that, in their opinion, are good and those that are bad. More and more countries prefer to decide themselves how to live, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reports, adding that Washington is trying to privatize the term democracy. They can't do so and should not do so, he said. They both were nominated in the Best Global Music Performance and Best Global Music Album categories. Femi Kuti's Papa was nominated in the Best Global Music Performance category, while Wizkid featuring Thames Essence was nominated in the same category. Wizkid's Made in Lagos was nominated in the Best Global Music Album category, and Femi Kuti and Made Kuti Legacy made the same category. Wizkid's Made in Lagos was nominated in the Best Global Music Album category, and Femi Kuti Made Kuti's Legacy made the same category. Grammy winner Burna Boy earned a nomination again with Do Yourself, a song by Angelique Kidjo. Burna Boy and Wizkid made category history after winning their first ever Grammy in the 2021 awards. Burna Boy clinched the award for the Best World Music category with his Twice as Tall album, while Wizkid picked up the prize for his collaboration with American singer Beyonce and her daughter Blue Ivy for the track Brown Skin Girl in the Best Music Video category. Meanwhile, jazzman and band leader John Bestis led the pack with 11 nominations, followed by Justin Bieber, H.E.R. and Doja Cat with 8, as Billie Eilish and Olivia Rodrigo nabbed 7. The 64th Annual Grammy Awards will be broadcast by CBS from Los Angeles on January 31st, 2022. Barca held by Benfica in Xavi's Champions League debut channels on Channel Television updated November 24, 2021. Barcelona's Spanish midfielder Nico Gonzalez reacts at the end of the UEFA Champions League Group E football match between FC Barcelona and FC Benfica at the Camp Nou Stadium in Barcelona on November 23, 2021. Luis Jenny AFP. Barcelona's hopes of qualifying for the Champions League last 16 go down to the final group in match day after an entertaining 0-0 draw against Benfica on Tuesday, with Xavi Hernandez taking charge of his second game since replacing Ronald Koeman in the Barca dugout. Catalan side produced a performance a world apart from the sorry outfit Benfica saw off 3-0 in Lisbon in September. A win would have earned Barca qualification alongside Bayern Munich, whom they must now beat on December 8th if Benfica down Dynamo Kiev to progress. Ronald Araujo, the Barcelona defender who had a late effort disallowed, told UEFA.com, "We played exactly the game the boss asked us to, pressing high up the pitch. In particular, all we lacked was the crucial goal." In torrential rain, the Xavi ignorated hosts were dribbling with newfound intensity and pace. Only the woodwork denied teenager Yusuf Demel late in the first half. The winger on loan from Rapid Vienna called a shot from inside the penalty area to beat Odysseus and Vlachodimos, but not the crossbar. In front of almost 50,000 fans braving a wintry evening in the Catalonia, Barca emerged for the second period in dominant mood, but Benfica held firm. The Portuguese visitors' coach Jorge Jesus freshened up his team on the hour. Darwin Núñez coming on for Yeremik and Adel Terabit for João Mario. Xavi then introduced Ousmane Dembele for Damien, the French World Cup winner, injecting some late pace. On 68 minutes, Frankie de Jong's header had opening goal written all over it, only for Vlachodimos to tip the ball over the bar. With the clock ticking down, Araujo thought he had delivered the decisive moment. His effort 7 minutes from time was ruled offside. The conference was a campaign pledged by the US president, who has placed the struggle between democracies and autocratic governments at the heart of his foreign policy. The Summit for Democracy will take place online on December 9 and 10 ahead of an in-person meeting at its second edition next year. The meeting was long advertised, but the guest list published Tuesday on the State Department's website will be closely scrutinized. Unsurprisingly, America's main rivals, China and Russia, are not on it. But the United States did invite Taiwan, which it does not recognize as an independent country but holds up as a model democracy. China balks at any of use of the word Taiwan that lends a sense of international legitimacy to the democratic self-ruled island, which Beijing claims as part of its territory and has vowed one day seized by force if needed. The US move is a guarantee to further inflame tensions between the two superpowers. I agree Taiwan more than qualifies, but it does not seem to be the only democratic government invited that the US government does not officially recognize. So its inclusion is a big deal, tweeted Julian Ku, a Hofstra University law professor whose specialties include China. India, often called the world's biggest democracy, will be present despite increasing criticism from human rights defenders above democratic backsliding under Hindu nationalist Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So to will Pakistan despite its checkered relationship with Washington. He stated this during an interview on Channels Television Sunday Politics on Heels on the visit of the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken to President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja. If you look at the mentally thinking of psychology of Nigerian political class, they fear that foreign sanctions more than the laws of the land because they believe that as long as you belong to the circle of power, you can do anything and get away with it, Sani said. We have had cases of people engaging in all sorts of violence during elections. As long as they are on the side of power, they go scot-free. Sani's comment came a few days after Blinken had, during his 2-day official visit to Nigeria, said the report by the Lagos State Judiciary Panel of Inquiry on Restitution for report by the Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry on Restitution for the victim of NSAS protests was critical, and the U.S. states was awaiting the actions which would be taken afterwards. And according to Shehu, Blinken's message to the country is very clear, as the United States has the responsibility to intervene once a government uses security agencies to oppress its citizens. While noting previous killings witnessed in the other parts of the country, the PDP chieftain explained that what made the NSAS incident unique is that the protesters came out peacefully raising national flag. Shehu added, what made this very distinct is the fact that the ordinary citizens of this country came out and there was the application of the force to suppress that protest. There were a lot of controversies whether actually there was a massacre or not, but the report that came out from the panel clearly stated that massacre took place. The Lagos panel had on November 15th concluded that the Nigerian army shot and killed unarmed protesters at the Lekki toll gate on October 20, 2020. Shortly after, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu set up a 4-member committee led by Lagos State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Mr. Moyosore Onigbanjo San, to raise a white paper on the reports submitted by the panel. For more news and updates, please stay tuned to Fliptv News. I am Shijola Falabi. Have a good afternoon.